The fact that there is no coherent analysis that's being presented, the fact that people feel like the only recourse they have is to throw themselves at the mercy of the power of the state or kowtow to neoliberal bullshit is a problem for the left. And
Huge.
really and truly, the way the left has engaged with this protest has also been incredibly disappointing to see. You seeing people lionizing it, talking about it as if it's like the revolution, talking about it as if every single person who's protesting, whether they're a liberal or an apolitical person or a whatever, is somehow the vanguard of the revolution and somehow going to, bring us to the utopia we want to bring us to, rather than doing the job of organizing strategically in order to gain political power so that we can steer these things to a better direction. We don't need to react to every foray as if we need to react to every foray in a way that is strategic for the overall goal of human rights and economic equality. That is our job. That is our job as the left.
Well, a big part of the problem, I think, with the left is that they're engaging with, and this isn't necessarily something that I would say I'm definitely just critical of the individuals who are doing it, because I would say that it's more or less exactly how it's going to work because of the ideology we've all been sort of raised in. But the problem is that people are engaging with these riots through social media, which is a medium. And to go back to McLuhan, the medium is the message. It's not just the content that's being delivered to you, it's how the content is being delivered to you. And it's being delivered to you through the lens of social media, which is metricized, and it has incentives, it has algorithms, it has all of these things that are set up to give you a version of it that is going to get you to continue to engage on the platform rather than to form coherent thoughts and organize, and like they don't want any of that shit to happen. What they want you to do is to like and retweet and favorite and do all of these things and continue to engage in a consumptive mode. And again, like I said, I'm not necessarily blaming people for doing this, because it's a lot of the default mode right now is unfortunately staying in your house and consuming things. So I get how it's something that you might end up doing. But as the broad left, as the big generalized the left, TM, we have to start taking on criticism of how these mediums are delivering content to us. McLuhan, the thing that he begins to criticize is the character of the medium, because it imprints itself on whatever content is delivered through that medium. And me yelling about this shit or you yelling about this shit doesn't really fucking matter, because all it does is just piss people off. But collectively, as a block, we have to start taking on these kinds of criticisms. Like, these are things that are going on in real life. They get fetishized through these platforms. They get commodified in a way, and they're designed to validate us and validate our current viewpoint. And we can't have that. Like, this isn't how this can keep going.
And that meets a perfect storm when you have all these young activists who, because they want the clout on Twitter, on social media, are posting videos of themselves at protests, photos of themselves at protests, not realizing that these cops can track you down from seeing our picture on your shoes. Eventually. Like, and I have so many followers who are doing this, and as much as like I appreciate them being out in the streets and risking their necks,
tweeting it.
I am worried for them. I am worried for them, because when like the police do not respond well to
evidence. The word is evidence.
Yeah.
Celebrities too. I mean, celebrities are going and doing photo ops.
John Cusack got himself beat.
Wow, John Cusack of all people. Wow. I didn't even, T.I. was the funniest one to me, because when it was happening in Minneapolis, he was like quoting Malcolm X and saying by any means necessary. And then as soon as it hit Atlanta, his city, he was like, no, y'all niggas need to go back home.
Actually, the police protect my property. Actually, the police protect my property.
That's happened several times.
He was like literally like, this is Wakanda, because it's like because like Atlanta's like seen as this sort of black neoliberal Shangri-La, and he was like, no, Atlanta's been good to us. Let's not burn Wakanda down.
The police here are fine in Atlanta, where you never hear any problems of police brutality ever. I've never heard a single story out of Atlanta. Certainly, never one.
Yeah,
literally, it's crazy how a lot of these celebrities are sort of coming out, using it as photo opportunities to show how woke they are, especially black celebrities who are trying to use, because pro-blackness is kind of been the thing that a lot of black celebrities have used to gain clout in the music industry and sports. Jay-Z is one of the biggest perpetrators, like like fucking P. Diddy, you know, he's like a black millionaire, and he was there like, we are African kings and queens, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, so many
fucking P. Diddy, as if P. Diddy has anything in common with any of the people who are angry.
No,
like, that's the thing that pisses me off the most about that. Like, P. Diddy doesn't fucking know what any of these people do day to day.
Yeah,
P. Diddy doesn't know why these people are fucking desperate and like fucking like literally trembling at the idea of having to go another day doing this bullshit.
To be fair, he probably grew up in a black community.
Sure, but like, he's decades removed from that.
I know, but like I'm saying, he's probably seen police brutality.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had people.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of these black millionaires that I'm talking about, they grew up in the hood. They came up in the hood, but because they managed to sort of get their hands on the American dream, a lot of them preach down to black communities that the only way up is through getting money, getting success, and being successful within capitalism, basically.
Yeah.
Which is largely...
P. Diddy is always rapping about money. Yeah. That's all he does.
Literally. And he's also one of the richest black men in America. He's had a lot of successes, not just in music, but mostly in business. That's what he's known for now, is the business decisions that he's made that have basically made him...
He's a mogul.
Yeah, he's a mogul.
And so is Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a mogul.
But then again, what they do preach to the black community is this sort of idea of black capitalism, black excellence, black magic, black this, black that. The idea that you too can have access to the American dream if you just work hard enough, or if you're lucky enough to be talented at one thing or another, which is the reason why I'm hypercritical of them, because they're going into poor and working class black communities for photo opportunities to make it seem as if that they are still part of the people. These people are removed economically from that situation now. They may not have always been removed economically from that situation, but they also need to not seem too alien to the black community that supports their music, that goes out and buys Sean John whenever P. Diddy decides he's going to release a new shitty line of whatever clothing or whatever.
Well, I mean,
so a lot of them do this like mushmouth, hotep, you know, woke pandering to the black community, when really and truly they're upholding the status quo, which is the reason why, I side-eye the fuck out of T.I. I side-eye the fuck out of all of these. What's his name? The one who is married to Mariah Carey. I forget his name. Nick Cannon. I side-eye the fuck out of Nick Cannon. I side-eye the fuck out of a lot of these black celebrities who are out there basically race hustling. And I hate to use that word because it's a word that people on Fox News use all the time, but there is such a thing as race hustlers. They're people who sort of use racial tension moments as an opportunity to gain social capital from any sort of given movement, and it happens, or gain actual like money through basically propping themselves up as activists, and sort of tapping into markets and demographics that way.
Take the intent out of it. Like, say that they have the purest of intent. Their experience mirrors almost no one else's experience in the entire country, in the entire world for that matter. Whether it be black, white, the lyrics of Miami, black, white, Cuban, or Asian. But their experience mirrors so few people actually experience class mobility. So when he preaches something along the lines of, you know, you need to do this and you need to get money, you need to do this, it's based on something that no one experiences for the most part.
The most important thing is that right now people are questioning the status quo. And as the left, people on the left, philosophically, considering the fact that there is no actual left in my country and in the US, people who are philosophically minded in terms of like the left,
people who
need
agree with the idea of having a left.
Yes, we need to be doing the job of arming people with the knowledge that they need to explain why they're mad about the things in the world. That is our primary job. And we also need to start working on building up institutional power in that regard as well.
Well, this is what we need to mean when we say, I support the people in these cities. What we need to mean is we are building things that can materially support the people in these cities. Like, that's what support needs to be. And we should unambiguously support people who are questioning the status quo. We should unambiguously support people who are angry and exerting that anger on the physical property of those who are technically above them. Like, that should be something we support. However, support needs to mean something different than what we're fucking doing.
Support just can't mean signifiers, and at the moment that's what's happening. Signifiers and people placing the responsibility of upending the system on those who have the least amount of power.